On to Branded. This week's episode, we are tapping into that concept of everything is figureoutable. So frequently we approach something new, we approach like new technology, new systems, new processes, and it can stop us in our tracks because maybe we've never used it before. We don't know what the hell it is. We're a little nervous to start learning something new. But I'm here to remind you everything is figureoutable, right? Even the systems that keep you sane and keep your business running smoothly. So, we're going to talk about that concept today and how it really relates to the systems that you have set up in your business and how it's all just figureoutable. So, don't stress too much about it, right? So, today's episode is for the overwhelmed, the big dreamer business owner, anyone who's ever looked in their back office and thought to themselves, what is this chaos I'm looking at? That's today's episode. We're going to kind of dig into that because today we're going to talk about systems. We're going to talk about sort of the behind the scenes magic that happens to keep your business running smoothly. And of course, like the mindset that just changes everything and shifts you into gear of like being able to take action instead of feeling frozen by, your decision making and the sort of like scariness that it is to learn something new and to bring something into your business. So everything is figureoutable. It's okay. Even the tech, the CRM that you set up 2 years ago, right? The automations that maybe started and never got finished, the calendars that maybe you're paying for but not using, right? All of these things, even if you set them up a year, 2 years ago, all of it is figureoutable. And we're going to dig into how to reapproach those sides of your business so they become a little bit less scary and you can actually start integrating them so they can give you the support that they're there for. So first, we're going to talk about the mindset, because if you're not prepared mentally to bring systems into your business, you're never going to do it because they're not easy, right? They're tedious work, and it really takes being able to see the big picture of what you're trying to achieve in order to then sort of reverse engineer and connect all the dots. And so understanding that it's all figureoutable. And at some point, if you feel too overwhelmed by it, there are plenty of people out there that run businesses off of like helping people do these things, right? So before we dive into the tools and the tactics and all of that kind of stuff, I want to talk about the mindset of it because if you're anything like me, right, I'm super creative sometimes. I'm super passionate about my projects. I don't really love spreadsheets and like all the tedious nature of what you have to do to run a business. I don't love all those things, but systems, they can feel really difficult, they can feel really boring, and they can feel really overwhelming. But the truth about that is that systems don't actually limit your creativity. They help protect it because they give your brain some breathing room in order to be creative, right? In order to be passionate. They give you that space to sort of breathe. So making space for inspiration, I mean, what's better than that, right? Helping you focus on what you love doing the most, the real work of your business. That's what systems can help you focus on. And so when you shift your mindset around, okay, systems aren't like this tedious, annoying thing that I have to do for my business. Instead, it's actually something that's helping to protect my creativity, protect my time, and protect my mental capacity for being able to connect with my clients more, create more beautiful things, show up more frequently, etc. So when you shift that mindset, I mean, it's really freaking huge. So instead of like seeing it as, a necessary evil, all of your systems in your business, what if you saw them as supportive structures like scaffolding for your vision, right? If you've ever built a house or been a part of any kind of physical build project, Not a lot of people have, but my father was in construction his whole life, and we built the house that I grew up in from scratch. I remember standing on scaffolding, painting the eaves of the house. Think of your systems as this sort of framework, this structure that supports the vision that's within. And when you really shift gears and think about your systems in that way, they don't become so annoying and overwhelming. They become something that helps you create the space that you need to be creative and to have more connections. And if we start from that place, right, that everything is figureoutable and that these are actually things that help support the vision that you're creating, then with the right tools and the right help and the right kind of decision making, I mean, you can have a business that is running not all the way flawlessly because, come on, technology, I think we know it's not flawless, but it can run in such a way that it frees you up to do all of the things that you really want to do, the real work in your business. So, as we dig into this sort of concept of everything being figureoutable, I want to give you guys like the top 3 systems that I would focus on. And this is nothing new. If you've been listening to this podcast for a little while now, I have talked about these systems before. I'm going to keep talking about them because, quite honestly, these 3 things are the foundation of your business. They will help keep things running smoothly. They will help you not drop the ball when you're too busy or something random in your life comes up. Like, for example, my husband had to recently have back surgery. Like, that's a huge thing. I have some systems in place. We've got a lot of personal life stuff happening right now, but I'm still able to be in my business and do what I need to do and connect with clients because there's other parts of my business already set up, systems already in place that I just don't have to worry about. And that frees up so much space. So I've created that scaffolding for my vision and I can just like really know that it's there to support me. So here are some systems that are going to help keep you sane in your business. We're going to break it down and help you stop like winging it, basically. Start streamlining it and give you the biggest return on your time. First, your calendar. Do you have one? Are you using it? Is there automation set up? Do you have your availability correctly input into the settings of your calendar? That way you don't accidentally get over bookings or something booked, whenever you're usually at your kid's baseball game or something, right? There are little things about these structures that if you do them right once, you never have to do it again. So this is where structure really begins, right? In something like your calendar. So ask yourself, there's some really good questions that you can sort of dig in to see, do I have this set up that really reflects what I am doing in my life and in my business? Do I know what I'm doing this week? Like if you were to sit and think, right? Let's say it's a Sunday evening and you're like, okay, do I know what it is ahead of me for the week? And if you don't, if you're like, I'm just fucking winging it day to day, like I'm not sure, then your business is feeling that, right? It's inevitable that it will feel that. It will feel that spontaneity and not the structure. So ask yourself, do I know what I'm doing this week? Is my calendar reflecting what matters most? What are the to-dos that I have for this week? And does my calendar reflect that? Do I have time blocked out for certain tasks and for certain client stuff? We've talked about time blocking before, but this is really a great generalization of being able to ask these 3 questions and then go look at your calendar and simply make some very minor tweaks to set yourself up for success for the coming week and future weeks ahead, especially if it's a setting that can just live in your calendar. So, do I know what I'm doing this week? Does my calendar reflect what's most important out of all of those tasks? And do I have time blocked out for like some quote unquote CEO tasks or some client deliverables or connection calls, right? All of these things. So what I would suggest doing is have a little weekly planning session for yourself every Sunday evening or maybe a Monday morning. Do a quick map out of what your week is going to look like. And honestly, this can take like less than 30 minutes. Include things like your non-negotiables, the calls that you have scheduled with people or promised to people, deadlines that you know are ahead of you, personal or professional, right? Appointments that you have ahead of you, personal or professional. Are these things, these non-negotiables where you're expected to be present and show up? Are they on your calendar already? Do you have time block for just creative work? Like, when is it throughout the week that you typically are feeling the most creative and you want to do content creation or you want to do client deliverables, depending on the nature of your work? Do you have time blocked out to actually dedicate to like being creative and playful with it? For me, that's usually on like a Saturday or a Sunday because it's just a little bit of more like a free, my time. And I tend to be more creative when my time isn't super structured. So I always block in a little bit of creative time over the weekends because during the week I have things like client calls, client deliverables, appointments, those non-negotiables where my presence is 100% needed. And then, of course, buffer space. We all need time to just chill and relax and recharge. And if you're not including buffer space within your like calendar, you're going to end up overwhelmed and overbooked because like life happens. You might have a surprise appointment show up. You might have a surprise thing with your kid happen. You might have a medical thing crop up. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Or maybe you're just really fucking tired and you need a break. Put in some time for rest. Put in some time for going for a walk. Put in some time for having a delicious meal in the middle of the day because you know that you need to recharge in order to continue to be productive, right? Whatever that looks like for you, buffer space. It's going to save your sanity, I promise. And even if you're using like a Google Calendar or a paper calendar, some people love pen to paper, right? Because it's just, they just don't connect with technology as more, and that's totally fine. But having the clarity of what do I have going on this week? Do I have my most important tasks, like hard appointments, put into my calendar? Do I have a little bit of buffer time in there? That way I can get a little rest and relaxation. What are these non-negotiables? Like, really, really getting clear on where your presence is needed. That in itself is a system. So it doesn't matter whether you're using Google Calendars or a pen and paper, calendar or some sort of fancy all-in-one tool, whatever. It does not matter, but clarity is the actual system. The calendar is just the tool that you're using, right? The second thing that I would suggest when it comes to having a system that's highly figureoutable, that will 100% save your sanity, is a client management system, a CRM. This is great because it really is a sort of set it and forget it scenario. So whether you're working with one client, 5 clients, 50 clients, 5,000 clients, keeping track of people manually is not a scalable method, period. It just isn't. And it's okay to start manual at first. Of course, we all start somewhere. I started with pen and paper and a nice big notebook. And once that notebook was full, I was like, well, do I get another notebook or do I upgrade my system? I upgraded my system. I got a CRM, right? And thankfully, I have everything all in one place now. But in the beginning, I was a little bit all over the place. I had my CRM over here, I had my calendar over there, all sorts of tools in all different places. And yes, that's a way of doing it. But there are better ways. The all in one tools are great. So, your CRM, here's a way that you can kind of get started with it. Pick a place that you want to track your leads in and stick to it for as best you can, right? You don't want to be flip-flopping all through these different channels too frequently. Yes, it's usually easy to like export your list of, let's say, email subscribers or just your client management, export your list, put it somewhere else into a new system. That's easy. The thing that I would really not try to do with the jumping around is because you end up having to create new automations in these new systems. So pick one that you like and try to stick to it. Make sure that it has the room for you to grow. So like if you've got 5 clients right now, but you're going to expect to have, 1,000 clients by the end of the year, make sure you're in a tool, like utilizing a CRM tool that can sustain that growth for you. I'll give you an example. When I first started my business, I was using Aweber as my landing page, email, and like CRM tool because they offered a free subscription up to, I think it was 500 subscribers. I don't know if that's still their rule, but that's what it was a couple of years ago. So I started with Aweber and it worked perfectly for what I wanted it for. But because it maxed out at 500 subscribers and it only allowed me one landing page, I outgrew the system pretty quickly. And it's not that it was too much of a hassle to move, but the fact that I had to move was like, I should have thought about this in the first place when I first got started. I should have thought a little bit bigger than where my business currently was, because it would have really helped me in the long run. And so that's why now I utilize this all-in-one tool called Satva, and it's got my CRM, my calendars, my websites, funnels, automations, email campaigns, text campaigns, course portals. I mean, literally everything. I know now that like the size of my business now, it can grow and grow and grow and grow. And this system is going to be able to sustain it because it has the capacity to do so. So think about those things whenever you're thinking about where you want this CRM tool for your business. There's things like Airtable or Notion board. They're like planning sort of tools. And I know they have CRM tools in there. I don't personally use either of those, but Satva, Go High Level, these all-in-one tools, 100% I use those and they're really, really simple to use. But honestly, you could even use a spreadsheet. As long as you have the clarity of what's happening and you're able to track all of your people, that's the system, right? So even a spreadsheet's okay, but I would not say that's the system. But we all start somewhere. So the goal basically is just to know your people, know how many of them you have. Do you have their names and their emails? Do you have a way of contacting them if social media was to just sort of like do a disappearing act one day? Where are they in the journey? Are they someone who simply subscribed to your newsletter? Have they purchased a product or service from you before? What's like, how did they get into your realm and where are they in that journey? Having a CRM tool will tell you immediately because you have a tagging system and automations and things that get set up so you know what's happened and all the history, the activity that this person does between, your business and them. It's all going to be recorded within that CRM tool. So let's say you had my name on your CRM, you could click right in it and say, okay, so Sarah has purchased this book from me. She's downloaded this resource from me. So let's say you've got a new book launching. Who do you want to send the first to know promo email that's super excited about your new book? Probably to the people who already bought your first book, right? So that's the power of the CRM tool is you can have this sort of snapshot of historical data without having to dig too deep and spend too much time. You can also have a really great snapshot of like who needs to be followed up with or what stage are they in and do they need a manual connection? Has the automation run out and now it's time for me to step in as the human and talk to this person. So the CRM tool is going to do all of those things for you. And once you have all these things in place, you automate, right? Once you have that CRM tool in place, then you can automate all the workflows for all the things that you do, the offers you have and the downloads and all of the courses and things like that. You automate those things and then it talks directly to your CRM. But first, just focus on centralizing the information. So let's say right now you've got all your clients in like a notebook. Well, the next best step, if you're not ready to get into an actual platform, open up a Google Sheet and get all that information transcribed digitally so you can have it saved somewhere and you can easily access it. You can easily share it with somebody else if you need it. Like you decided you wanted to hire somebody to help you, easily share the information, right? So something as simple as a spreadsheet can really help create this clarity for this system. The last one that I want to talk about is your offer system. So this is the part that a lot of people kind of skip over, but honestly, it can be really freaking helpful for your business because you need clear, like really clear offers that are easy to talk about, a repeatable process that can deliver the product again and again, right? Something that you can trust is going to work, and then a way to track what's working. So a great way to do this. Now, this is your offer system. This is not me talking about any kind of platform you need to be into. This is really more about the clarity of your offer system as it stands, like in your vision, and then getting it down on paper and making sure that what you're actually presenting to the world is really clear, and that the system you do have in place, whether it's an all-in-one tool, whether it's some other kind of platform, making sure that that deliverable process can be repeated again and again without too many hiccups. You know, you don't want to have to be manually delivering your offers every time. You're going to end up dropping the ball inevitably because there's probably too many other things on your plate. And then, of course, having a way to track what's working for you. And usually these tools, if you have any kind of software that helps you do this, they'll usually have like alerts and notifications to tell you when things are going wrong, when something has successfully processed, all of that. So a way that you can kind of simply create a little bit of like an offer map, write out a couple things. What is it that you sell? What is it for, right? Who is it for? What's included in it? And what happens first, second, third, fourth, really writing out the journey of what you expect people to go through. That helps you then build that journey. So having the clear vision, the clarity behind the tool and the system, that's really what this conversation is about, is getting super, super clear on these three things: your calendar, your CRM, and your offers, and understanding they're all figureoutable. They're all there to help support your creative vision if you just spend a little bit of time focusing on them once a year, twice a year. If you're really feeling like a little extra, once a quarter. But honestly, this is like a good once a year task to really, really focus on and ask yourself these kinds of questions to regain this clarity, because things are always shifting and moving and life is always changing. And so it's great to revisit this kind of stuff. So when you're looking at your offer system, look at what could be sort of automated or put into a template, perhaps, like your welcome emails, your onboarding steps, any payment reminders, because this is how your brand will start to feel cohesive. It's not just for your clients, it's for you. Like these systems, this work is as much for you as it is for your client, because as the business owner, you also want to be having a stellar experience with your business. Otherwise, how long is the business going to last, right? If the business is burning you out and overwhelming you, that business is not long for this world. So helping your brand feel cohesive, helping your brand have some clarity that then creates the systems that keep you sane, this is how your clients feel safe and protected. This is how you feel safe and protected. So I do want to, I don't want to ignore the fact that a lot of people don't feel techie, right? Like a lot of people really don't like technology. They just don't vibe with it. It scares them a little bit. They instantly feel overwhelmed by it. I get it. Technology is one of those things that throughout my entire life, I have had to remind myself, I can figure this out. Literally. I am not a technology type of person, but if you talk to any of my clients or people that know me just from like my corporate job, most people are like, yeah, well, pretty good problem solver. Usually if they give me a task and say, hey, I want to achieve XYZ, I figure out a way to make it happen. I'll go Google stuff, I'll YouTube something, I'll reach out to somebody who I think might be able to help and have the answer, because there are no stupid questions. If you approach all of this work and the idea of utilizing technology as it's figureoutable, I'm going to be able to find a solution for this. It may not happen in the way that I expect. It may not be as easy as I expect. But the good news is you don't have to be super, super techie to achieve clarity in these three areas of your business. Your calendars, your CRM, and your offers, all you need is the clarity. The tools and all of those things will sort of come naturally as you gain this clarity, because the magic formula, let's say, is clarity, simplicity, consistency. That's what equals your sanity. So be clear about where you need to be week to week, right? Be clear about who your people are that are in your realm and where they're at in their journey, and what do they still need in order to feel nurtured and connected. And be clear about what it is you're even offering and the journey that these people are going on. So just remember, start where you are. Choose the tools that work best for you. What works for me may not work for you. What works for somebody else may not work for me. I see plenty of stuff on social media where I'm like, cool, I'm not going to let that deter me from my vision and my goals of what I have going on, because it's really easy to be like, ooh, shiny, ooh, shiny, ooh, shiny, and go in all of these different directions. Start where you are. Choose the tools that work really well for you. Don't overcomplicate it. Overcomplicating, let me tell you this. Technology, yes, it can be very complicated, but more times than not, the reason it feels super complicated is because of us. It's because of how we're approaching it. It's not really the technology itself, because if you really sit and think about it, YouTube, Google, all these places, can you not find the answer, or at least a portion of the answer? Out of all the people that you're connected and networking with, can you not find the answer? Be real with yourself, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Ask for help when you need it. Because honestly, asking for help is part of the system. If you need help clarifying, okay, I'm looking for this clear vision of what I need to do for these systems, ask for help. If you need help implementing the clarity that you have found to put it into tools to create the systems, ask for the help, right? No matter where you are in the journey of creating systems for your business, if you get to a point where you're feeling like you're overcomplicating it and spinning your wheels, ask for help. You're not behind like the buck on any of this just because someone has, a CRM tool that's been set up for years and they're utilizing it does not mean that you're behind. It just means you've been running your business differently and perhaps a little less efficiently, but it doesn't make you behind. You have an opportunity to build some sanity into your business. And honestly, you're building something real, which isn't easy. It takes a little bit of that scaffolding, right? It takes a little bit of that elbow grease to really hold up such a big vision. You have to have that framework. So here's some quick, little next steps that I would suggest doing if this is all speaking to you and you're like, yes, this is exactly what I'm needing in my business. So the systems that are keeping you, sane with clarity and helping you build with simplicity, you don't have to overhaul everything all at once. Choose one thing and implement it. Give yourself the next 7 days to just choose one thing and implement it. Block time on your calendar to plan your week. That's a task. That creates clarity. Centralize your client information into one place. That's a task. That brings clarity, even if it's a spreadsheet. Map your offers on a document so you can just reference it at any time. It does not have to be a beautifully designed proposal that you made in Canva or something. It can literally just be a Google Doc that you have typed up that has your business name, it has your offers, it says what you offer, who it's for, what's included, and the journey that they're going to go on, right? That's clarity. That's setting up a system. So choose something that you want to build into your business, because like I said, if you do it right the first time, and when I say right, I mean just do it. Because there really isn't any right or wrong. You'll start to recognize where there are like little hiccups along the way, that maybe you did something wrong or you could have done something better or something a little more efficiently. Honestly, just take the action. That is really the most powerful step you can take. And then continuously remind yourself, I can do this. I can figure this out. And if I can't figure this out, there is someone out there who can help me. Guaranteed, right? You're not supposed to know everything about your business, about life, about all the ins and outs of everything. You're not supposed to know everything. You're just supposed to be brave enough to take one more step, a little more action, because honestly, that's how businesses become aligned and sustainable and actually fun to run, is by just taking those actions a little bit every day. And it's okay if you make mistakes, because the mistake is inevitably going to lead you to the truth, right? To what you were actually looking for. So that's it for today's episode. I hope this was super helpful. If you know somebody that's like struggling with their systems and they need to hear this, send this episode to them, And of course, you can always find more information at socialjanemedia.com. Book a call with me. Let's have a chat, help you with the clarity. But everything is figureoutable, even the systems that are keeping you sane. I hope this is really a good reminder for you. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Branded, the podcast. Please rate and review. And for more information, visit socialjanemedia.com. I'll see you soon.